Lisa from Kitchen Witch Boutique on Three Kings Day, January 6th, 2022. I am presently in Our Lady of Czestochowa in Doylestown. I'm really hoping that they don't catch me in here because I think you're not supposed to videotape, but you know, it's all good. But I wanted to bring up the Three Kings Day thing. I've been wanting to speak about Three Kings Day for a while because it's really important to me because of the appearance of Simbi, the voodoo spirit, the voodoo snake deity in my own life. But I was just out to lunch at Panera Bread in Doylestown with a friend of mine, Cindy, and a whole bunch of channeling came through as far as the Three Kings and like how they came together and all of it. So I wanted to share it with people, and I did write a bunch of stuff down. Now, that notwithstanding, I can't read my own fucking writing, sorry, said it, so I'll do my best. So basically, as you can see, like I'm here in Chestochowa. I was gonna try to do it outside, but there's no freaking way. It's like, you know, minus 30 degrees out. But here we go. So the Three Kings, what Spirit was saying, and Cindy and I wrote this down, they came from three different directions. Like number one is Spirit said they did not arrive together. They may have arrived together at some point, but they didn't start out on that journey together. Now, this is a whole bunch of pages that, as you can see, like, you know, I was like channeling, writing, blah, 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 whatever, but we'll keep it brief. So the Three Kings, there was some debate that any of them were actually kings. They said that Balthazar, the king or the magi from Ethiopia, was actually a king, but they said that there was a lot of sacred alchemy that was coming up with this. They said they were coming together to form a triangle led by the North Star. I think that's serious, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not quite in channeling mode right now. But as they brought up Gideon, they said that to start with, Melchior they said he was an enchanter. He did charms and baubles and talismans. Melchior, they said that, they told me to reference the carpetbaggers. I don't know what that means. He had a working knowledge of conjure and of sorcery. He worked with especially myrrh and calamus. Calamus was a very biblical herb, and everybody in hoodoo knows what calamus is. It's a domination herb. So what they were saying is he was a bit of a ladies' man. He would sell love charms. He would go from town to town and, you know, sell love charms and little baubles. He liked to work with jewels. Well, he was also a bit of an astronomer. Again, they were saying he was in touch with some dark spirits who basically were leading him to the baby Jesus to acquire the baby Jesus' knowledge, which is interesting because, you know, baby Jesus could not speak at that point. But you know how spiritual workers are, you know, they can pick your brain. Okay, so he was a bit of a shapeshifter. He was, Spirit told me, called into an audience with King Herod. He was also a friend and a comrade to Balthazar. Balthazar was the king from Ethiopia. Balthazar was, from what they were saying, Balthazar was of royalty. Melchior was a little bit of a servant boy, like sort of like the, you know, the poor relation. They would hang out, but Balthazar basically was coming from Ethiopia. Balthazar was working with gold. Here's the notes. So Balthazar was told by his guides, which did include Gabriel. Gabriel was very much a part of this. Balthazar was told that if he brought the gold, not by Gabriel, if he brought the gold to Jesus, the gold would basically multiply because he was trying to grow his wealth. So essentially, all three of these guys, Melchior, Balthazar, and Casper, not the friendly ghost as it turns out, they were all conjure guys, they were all magicians, they were all wise men, they were all scribes, they were all, you know, astrologers. So each one of these guys were coming sort of not just because, oh my God, this is the king on earth, this is the one that's going to save us, this is, etc., but they had an agenda. Okay, so Balthazar came and when he got to see baby Jesus, he pocketed some of the straw, you know, that Jesus's manger was made of, because oat straw is a wealth increaser. So these guys were absolutely 100% sacred alchemists. I mean, that's what it is. So again, you know, then comes Casper. Okay, oh, one more thing about Balthazar. Balthazar, apparently, from what they were telling me, was an enchanter. Balthazar was working with the Kama Sutra, which is fascinating. Apparently, you know, in his bloodline, in his lineage, in his whatever, he was working with the Kama Sutra. They were bringing up something called the dynamic principle. Okay, I don't know. He saw the sutras as a source of power. He was unmarried, Balthazar. Balthazar is my favorite, and I don't remember which Simbi he is. I believe he's Micaiah, but I'm not sure, because each of the Simbi spirits, you know, in voodoo are related to each of the three kings. Okay, he was unmarried. He was working with Kundalini energy. He was, you know, trying to basically, you know, strengthen his manhood, as to say, etc. But Casper is the most interesting one. Casper, they were saying, was a medium, a naturopath. He was a very strong conduit for the dead. You know, Papa Getty popped up and said hi to that one. He was a physician. Okay, so this was thousands of years before Luke the physician. He was a physician. Casper was in touch with alien energies. He was working with crop circles. They also said, like, the Pleiadians were very much influencing Casper, you know, etc. when that was going on. Also Sirius. They also mentioned the dog star. Again, I am not an astrologer or an astronomer, so I have to look this shit up because I don't really know what it is. But they said, basically, Casper was working with sigils. Now, Casper, out of all of them, was the most in touch with Gabriel. Gabriel was leading Casper, basically teaching him angelic sigils, teaching him, you know, that kind of stuff, ritual magic, Enochian magic. The prophet Enoch was in touch with him also. This is all written down here. Casper came in, the three kings, the three magi met up. You know, Casper was the one that led them to Jesus, and then there was an incident where he was delayed by someone, you know, an official getting into Bethlehem, and with his own magic, whatever you want to say, like his influence, his spiritual influence, like he was able to get all three kings through the census, through the gates of Bethlehem, because at that time, you know, there was a huge, it was kind of like, you know, COVID times a million. Like, they were not letting anybody in and out the city, but he managed to, you know, conjure his way in. Okay, so, you know, basically, what they said to me today is that the Archangel Gabriel put in, you know, an intention in Casper's heart, like to lead him to Jesus. Basically, he said to Casper, I will make you a soul pact that if you do not come, you know, trying to not take advantage to harness your power onto the baby Jesus, because these guys knew that Jesus was so powerful. He was such an amazing conjure man, etc., you know, that they wanted to steal his power. I mean, what they're saying, and this upsets me a little bit, but what they're saying is the three kings, like, they were not these holy guys initially, because they were out trying to say, you know, shit, you know, this Jesus guy, like, he's so powerful, like, I want to basically try to get some of his power. That's what we do. Yes, as conjure people, like, we're like, hey, let's hitch our wagon to that guy. So what happened is Casper was given a roadmap by Gabriel. He was a little bit of I don't know what they call the guys that draw the maps. He did that. Okay, so Gabriel struck a bargain with him, saying that if he were to, this is a quote, unburden his soul and give himself over to the will of God, that he would be made rich, he would have many houses, whatever. So God acted upon his heart, so to speak, when he came into the presence of the baby Jesus, along with Balthazar and Melchior. Archangel Michael stepped up, and they were showing me this in vision. Archangel Michael stepped up and cleared him. He cut all the cords, because there were negative entities like hanging around and attached to all three of these wise men. Like, everything that they had studied, I'm seeing the Eight of Pentacles right now, everything that they had learned all through their, you know, their divinations and all of this, they were being led by, not the greatest of. There was some demon action in there. There was Azrael. There were some demons that were hanging around them, okay? Michael came in, with, again, free will. They said, please, by the grace of God, we surrender our will. Michael cleared the cords, cut the cords, and they were given the right to be amongst the baby Jesus. So when they saw Jesus, they saw that Jesus had he had the ability to go into the Akashic records. This was something that they were seeing into, they looked in the eyes of the baby Jesus. They saw that Jesus was between the worlds, that he was given the power to see beyond the veil. He was in access with, the Atlanteans, like all the ancient energies of Isis and, Atlanta, Lemuria, all the star people, all of it, the Akashic records, etc. And that's when all three of them knelt on the ground, and they all came. One came on an elephant, one came on a camel, one came on a donkey. They knelt and they cried because they recognized the supremacy that Jesus brought to the earth. They recognized that he, as a healer, was the most incredible, magical, holy person that they had ever seen. And they were ashamed, and they laid down on their faces, which may be where, when they say, you lay prostrate, prostrate, when you lay down, that's what happened. Is they were ashamed. They saw his goodness and his divinity, and they cried. But basically, they then went on, all three of them, and I think at one point they worked together or they worked separately, but they went on because seeing the baby Jesus in his innocence, and his purity, he blessed them. And they went on to do incredible works their entire life. They healed everybody. They gave up their selfish pursuits of, getting more power and magical wars and all that kind of stuff. And it's really interesting because Simbi, who I absolutely love, and some of you know me, don't even ask me why there is a bug in here. But Simbi, the voodoo messenger god of voodoo, he is representative of the three magi. There's Simbi Makaya, Simbi of the two wooders, Simbi, thank you. Simbi of the two wooders, Simbi of the two wooders, Simbi Makaya, and Simbi Endezo. Simbi is a divine messenger. So as these guys were, they became divine messengers of Jesus. So they were working with the Kabbalah, they were working with sacred alchemy, they were working with the Rastafarians, the Rosy Cross, they were working with I can't even remember, the Dan Brown stuff. That's what happened. They were blessed by, the innocence and the love of Jesus, and they went on to become amazing healers. But as spirits follow spirits, they also were teamed up with Simbi, the water spirits, of the Congo. And that's why, we celebrate this as Three Kings Day. And as, my godfather, Ungan Hector, is going to have, he's going to have a ceremony on the 15th. But that's kind of what, because I had been asking, I said, I need to understand this better. So, what they said to me, and in closing, I realize this is super long, they said this time period, the 12 days between Christmas and, it leads right into the season of Carnival. Carnival is the free-for-all, you've got the Fat Tuesday or whatever, but they said, if people are trying to change their lives, and remember, the snake is a symbol of transformation. The snake is a sacred healer. Snake skin, and again, the snake is associated with Papa Gede, he's associated with Papa Legba, he's associated with a whole bunch of deities, etc. Also Moses, okay? So they're saying that if you're looking to change your life, you're looking to come into sacred transformation, sacred geometry, sacred alchemy, Saint Germain, all of these stuff, this is the day to do it. So I'm saying this in an effort to get people to, to understand is if you light a white candle to spirit tonight and you pray for world peace and you pray for peace within your own home and your own heart and you pray for the ability to hear, to hear God, to hear the angelic voices, for the ability to change your life. I am saying this to you now. You will be blessed. Like, the transformation in your life, in your lives, will be phenomenal. You know, I was hearing Oh Holy Night from Josh Groban. You know, it's like the slave is our brother. Like, we've been slaves to so many things throughout our lives. We've been slaves to the television, to the media, you know, to our own egos, to our own fears, to our own, you know, petty bigotry and prejudice and all of it. And what I heard, you know, and poor Cindy, like Cindy was trying to transcribe it because I said, I'm trying to write it down, but my handwriting is horrible. But what I heard was that all ye ask of me shall be done, for all lives hang in the balance between truth and fiction. Show me your willingness to convert, not to Christianity, not to Judaism, not to any religion or any man-made thing on earth, to convert and accept and implement in your own lives the divine light within you, and ye shall be free. So that's my message today. From Lisa at oh my goodness, I can't talk. It's so hard when I come out of channeling because I'm like, it's ridiculous. Lisa at Kitchen Witch Boutique, January 6th, 2022. Ayubobo. I bless you. I love you. I wish you peace. Amen. Praise be to God.